About a painting. This is Control 1. It's made in 2020, oil on canvas. It cost 2 million crowns. Why did I make the Prime Minister like this in 2020? If you guys remember the lockdowns of the pandemic, because some of us do this when we say that word, pandemic. What happened was all the small businesses had to lock down and we had to wear muzzles in the collective transportations and offices. A lot of big restrictions on the human rights happened, and we were a huge group across the world who didn't accept these restrictions, because we know if you give this much, it will take everything. That's a kind of how it works if you paid attention. So this painting is a satire. So what you see in this painting is the muscle, okay? It is I call it the muscle because that's what they use for the dogs, you know, when they want them to shut up and not bite. They put them on like this. And I couldn't put it over the mouth because I couldn't put it ever over the mouth in the painting, okay? So it's a kind of an integrity there. So I made it like a tiara, you know, like a crown, because like a crooked one. Her eyes has a kind of reptilian. She has this, what are they called? Like dictator suit, which kind of matches the stars in the background, like a reference to China. No offense, China, I love you, but you do have a little bit a tendency of state capitalism. When the government and the CEOs of the big companies merge, it becomes state capitalism and fascism. And a lot of people felt it was kind of this fascism attitude, totalitarian fascism in 2020. The toilet seat here, I'm gonna give a detail picture. There you go. And that's the unsustainable shit goals, which I call them, because nobody asked us, the people, if we wanted these goals and how we're going to do these goals. It's kind of an implementation of the Agenda 2030. So that's a little bit of what's in the painting. How I displayed it the first time, it was on my birthday, the 28th of November 2020. I was 35 years and I decided to celebrate my birthday in a demonstration, and I painted it finished for that day, and I put them on poles, as you see here. And I was dating some nutritionist at that time, and he carried also. So he was carrying, there is a twin painting to this actually, because there was kind of two responsible to the big lockdown, two outward faces that was most dominant in the lockdown period. So that was the health minister. Maybe I'll make another video on that, but for now it's on this painting. And it was a lot of people there. I think about 1,000 people for Norway with a population of 5 million. That's quite good. Because we were like disobeying all the corona restrictions. No muzzle, no 1 meter distance, no meeting in big groups. So we broke all those rules. Fuck 'em, because we saw right through what was happening. People did not fall over and die like we were shown on the TV in China. I was very much thinking it could be a real pandemic, and I locked myself in for 2 weeks with my kids and ordered even a muzzle, which I never used because I realized it was all bullshit in the meantime before I got the order. So trust me, if there was real, I would have, respected these kind of restrictions. So, but it wasn't. It was a fucking scam. Demic. So after that demonstration, I took them with me for about 3 or 4, 5, 6 more. I lost count. I got really good response from the freedom fighters. They loved it, you know. And it was such a special feeling to bring. Not many people is gonna understand this kind of a mix, but when you work with fine art, it's not illustration, it's not specific public art, or it's not specific, it's not, you know, commercial, it's not this and this and this. Fine art is supposed to go in the roots of your emotional or of my emotional when I paint, but also of touching the bigger emotions. And when I walked with that in the march, we went through the main street of Oslo, and it was such a special feeling to flash these paintings to the people sitting in the cafes with like 1 meter distance, and show them this, because I felt the power of art on the scene. Because you get an expression, like they instantly recognize the leaders and what our message is. So it was quite, I can't even fucking describe it, okay? It was interesting, and it was intense and powerful. So, let's go on. Let's not make this too fucking long. So who is this lady? Yes, she was the prime minister from 2013 to 2021 in Norway. She came into the power through the government on the parliament as 28 years old. So she's like a well-groomed politician. So I'm not gonna sit here and feel guilty or have people telling me I'm bullying anyone, because if anyone was bullying the unvaccinated and the people who did not take these bullshit restrictions, you know, you have no fucking idea how it is to be on that side, on the fucking barricades, shitting on this bullshit. So she is well-groomed and she can handle everything. I know she's a strong woman, and I never give a shit about her or the politics before 2020. I remember my mom in 2019, she was on her deathbed, and we talked about a lot of things. She was sick, she had cancer, and I just remember one sentence I found very interesting. She said, well, you know, Kinara, the hippies were just anarchists, you know? And that's kind of where I come from. I don't like this structural that you're supposed to rule over me and we are ruling over and we rule each other. No, it's not like that. And so I didn't give a shit about politics before 2020, but when you messed with our freedom, then all the freedoms, the freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, freedom of health, freedom of choice, freedom, everything. You fucked with all the freedom then, well, we have to fuck back at you. So what happened was, I read a book from, it's called Inside of the PST, which is like the Norwegian intelligentsia, and the bodyguards wrote on page 18 of this book by Simon Solheim. I will say it in Norwegian first because it has a funny dialect, so I'll just briefly read it to you. Hun kommer for sent til sin egen pressekonferanse. Et telefonmøte med Bill Gates måtte prioriteres først. Sa man har de tidligere brukt milliarder på å utvikle vaksiner for å forebygge epidemier og pandemier. Ingen i salen vet at et Bill Gates-møte er grunn til at de måtte vente. So basically saying that Bill Gates called her and another press conference the day before the big press conference of the lockdown, the 11th of March, she talked with Bill Gates. So this is not about politics. This is about power, profit, and control. Okay? Now I want to touch into the name, Control One. Why did I call it that? As I said, I was dating this guy at that time, and we were sitting home in my place, and I decided, like, I'm going to do this. For the first time in my life, I'm going to actually ask my tarot cards what the name of a painting should be. And so he hold them up like this. I asked him, can you chop, stock it, shuffle them, and then can you hold them up? And then he did. He hold them like this, and I was like, I closed my eyes, and I was like, okay, just give me the right fucking name, because this is not a game. This is real. And I closed my eyes, and I pull out the card, and boom, Control. That's the card I got. So that's what I did, and I don't think I ever will ask the tarots for a name again. And but I'm so happy I did, and it was the right one, because this is the reoccurring fight we have in freedom, that everyone wants to fucking control everything, or the swarm wants to control every fucking thing. Control the privacies. We are losing the privacy, the control over the everything, the money, the land, everything is control. And that's quite the opposite of freedom, guys. That's the fucking opposite. That's a little bit about the name. She made her own version. She made her own version for her campaign in 2021, a year after, about half a year after I made mine. So she made her own portraits. I think that's a nice thing to do. Smart. Okay, so I want to address also the money part. So this painting is costing 2 million crowns, which is roughly like $200,000 in September 2025. Like how? Yeah, I tell you how and why. Okay? Do you know the fucking guts you need to have to make satire in this fucking wobbling freedom of speech times? Okay? Do you know how brave you have to be to do something like that? Do you know, if you know the story of satire, it's not a small little thing to do. You need fucking courage. You need to be sharp. You need to be dedicated. You need to mean something. And that shit costs. It costs to be putting yourself out there, honest. So I want fucking valuta for stepping up to listening what the art wants me to tell, or what the people wants to say, because I was listening, because I don't give a shit about this lady before. I have no personal vendetta. This is all about the fucking lockdown and what the people I hear said and other people fucking ignored. So I just want to make that clear. Okay, so that's the first thing. You know, you need courage, and courage should be valued. Okay, and number 2, we are going through a fucking pandemic, okay? This shit, if you survive it at that time, like, we don't know it's gonna end. Are you gonna survive? Are you? And how are the artists being treated? Yeah, it's fucking hard to be an artist. It's fucking hard. It's costful, and it's hard, because almost just rich people are artists these days. Almost just the entitled elites can be artists soon. We better see that being an artist in 2025 or 2020 cost a lot of money also. So a lot of fucking people quit every fucking day. Quitters, quitters, quitters. They quit and quit and quit. Especially women have been quitting forever in art because we have a whole story how we've been written out of the art history. We've been stolen art from our history, the female painters. So it's really important that we get the values we deserve when we do keep it true to art. So that's why also the prize. I'm not gonna make it all about the prize here, because fuck money. You know, it's not that. That's not the essence of it. But I want to make clear that yeah, a lot of women quit, and that's why you see a lot of. I meet a lot of people when I say I'm a paintress, I'm an artist. I always meet, oh, my mom is an artist. She makes too. My auntie makes art too. It's it makes me happy, but it also makes me sad because they always start again what they stopped when they were younger, because they gave up, and then they fucking regret that they gave up because they loved it so much. So to cling on to art is it should be valued, because 20 years now I've been painting, and that's why on my 35th birthday, when I've been painting for 20 years, I said I have to make my stand making a historical painting and making a contemporary painting. So I say this is both historical and contemporary satire, and it should be in the history books, which it didn't. Here's one they gave out. Here's one on coming out right now. They don't want to talk about what happened between 2020 and 2023. Okay? So we have to also be careful that we don't cancel these years from our memory, because that will make suppression, and suppression always creates trauma and fucking ignorance. I don't know, you know. We should definitely talk about all these things so we can heal and keep going and get stronger from the situation. I think that's about it for this time. I hope this episode was especially intense for you, and thanks for watching. Thank you very much for liking or commenting, or even you should buy one print from me, please. You can go here to my website, or you can whips me or DM me, because buy from real artists and not the artists that don't fucking know who you are and has no integrity of the situation, or don't give a fuck about your freedoms. So support artists who give a fuck about your freedoms. Okay. Thank you very much again, and I'll see you to another episode.